we are.
All right, here I am.
In the kitchen of
Madam
Ruth Barrett's kitchen. And here's Dr.
And Master Donald K. Bear's kitchen.
Ambassador. Okay. We don't want to leave that out.
I'm doing biscuits here.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to leave that out. And you got it. Don't put no more flour in it.
Okay.
Don't make it too stiff. If it makes it too stiff, it won't rise.
Okay.
As well.
I'm getting instructions from the queen of the kitchen. I'm making homemade biscuits.
What you're gonna do is take this pan and put a little bit of shortening in the bottom, just a little bit, just to keep it from sinking. Just a little. That's good enough.
Okay.
What you got?
Would you do that for me?
Yes, I'll do that.
You're my assistant today.
Yeah, I just washed my hands.
Oh, you can come on around this way if you want to get another view.
Okay.
The camera lady, you can walk around.
I'm just putting this in the bottom of the pan so it doesn't stick. Not for any other reason.
Now, that's still kind of gooey, Mom. This is.
It's supposed
is that all right?
It's supposed to be. You just roll it enough to not. Just roll it in the flour.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much flour, right?
No. But you just roll it in the flour. Now that's good. That's good. Now pat it out. Pat it out.
And it's ready to cut?
Yeah. You might have to turn it over. Turn it over.
Are you getting this? Do you need to? Are you getting? Are you taking? Can you see the biscuit?
Yeah. Turn that over. Turn that over. Turn that over. Now get your cutter. This is good.
See, because it's still kind of sticky, so.
But that's okay. If it's sticky, they're right there. Yeah, that's good enough.
A famous cutter. This is a famous cutter.
That's a cut. All of it cut. Just to make that's very good.
Did you get some?
Very good. Here you go. I'm gonna put this down so you can go for it for yourself.
I've been trained by the best.
It's all about how you feel about it. After you put your ingredient in, so you see how that's gonna come?
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna automatically be biscuits.
Yep. The oven is already hot.
Okay, the oven is already heated. So
I got bacon on the stove.
Okay, bacon on the stove. So what we're gonna do now is put away. This is the art of cooking. Is putting away your stuff as you finish.
Amen.
Right.
This is your art.
Hear that, Don?
Now the other part is, for me, this is just my personal thing, is to have everything laid out before you get started cooking.
And that
makes it so much easier.
That's professional. That's what it's
You never see a real cook, go in the kitchen without knowing where everything is.
They carry everything
and ready to operate.
in hand reach. And when you put it all in hand reach, it's gonna be okay.
All right, now this is gonna be breakfast for the morning. Now this is a Thursday morning.
Thursday morning?
I think it's March the 6th.
March the 6th.
Tomorrow Mother will be going back to Illinois.
Right. There you got it.
But I wanted to do some biscuits.
There you are. That's fine. Finish.
Now there is, did you zoom in on that?
Yes.
There's the pan of biscuits. Now these will go in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 minutes or so.
15 minutes, that should
The
be.
oven's already hot. The oven must be preheated.
Yeah, preheated.
Into the
there
oven.
you are. You all finished.
I'm going to have biscuits today.
There y'all finished.
I'll have biscuits today.
It's all right.
All right, now I'm going to clean up.
Yeah, now that's your next thing.
I'm going to clean up.
Clean as you go,
I'm
you'll
gonna
have no
bacon,
problem.
The biscuits,
You'll have no problem.
the eggs, and the bacon.
Okay. See, all of that'll be cooking while your biscuits are getting ready. You only got 15 minutes, so all that other stuff will be ready.
Right.
So how nice, now how easy.
Easy.
The Lord has blessed me to be where I am today. Only just the blessing of the Lord and the grace of God that brought us this far. But as though the day I left Mississippi in 1945, I didn't leave intentionally to go back because I had a one-way ticket. Coming to Chicago at that time, the fare one way was $15. And my sister Lucinda Stroggins, Mother Stroggins now, sent me my $15, and I was able to board not the plane, but the Greyhound bus coming from Mississippi. On that Monday morning, I can remember so well, when I left the cotton field that Friday at 12 noon, I said, never again. I said, and I sang the song, How I Got Over. And today, I'm happy that I did. And my oldest daughter, Brenda, who was like the, I would say she was in charge whenever we went out somewhere. So she always kept order as much as she could. And so Preston, of course, he was the oldest son. He was a terror. he would tear up every toy that we would get him, and he wanted to find out what it was made out of. And so that was my second child.
Put back together.
And
Could he ever put the toys back together?
and he never could put them back together. He'd always undo them, but he could never get the wheels and everything back together. Had a beautiful little toy with a motor, just a run with a battery, and he took the wheels off the front wheel. I don't know what that was all about, because the car was running when we left. When we got back home from where we, Barbara was nice, and so she was always a little bit on the uppity side as she is today. She was very, very, you couldn't touch some things of Barbara. She was just that type of person, and she has that personality even today. Then to my twins, Stella and Collis. They were twins born about 5 minutes apart in the city of Chicago. And that was, they were a joy for me because I never had twins. Naturally, it was something different to have two twins, the two together, having to give them bath same time, and it seemed like they both would wake up at the same time, both cry at the same time, and I had to run from one to the other. And that was quite a job, different job, should I say, from the other 3 babies that I'd already had. And I had 5 babies at one, you might well say I might have had 5 at the same time because they were all babies and all was in diapers. And I'm thankful that the Lord gave me strength and gave me wisdom enough to even take care of them and to see that they didn't go dirty or hungry, had things that they was deserving to have, and the Lord provided for us and gave us wisdom to take care of what he had given us. And then to my son, whose home I'm in today, who is my second son and my 6th child. He was never any trouble, didn't give me no extraordinary trouble, because he was just a child that grew up a loving son, and he is that same today. And then the next son was Isaiah, who was like a troublemaker all through his young life. He kept everybody laughing at home. Then when he got large enough, he wanted to fight with the twins and just have the ordinary family thing. Nothing bitter, but just the fussing and the struggling, and somebody's bothering me all the time. And he liked to tease and irritate the rest of the children, and he kept everybody like on their toes. Because say, who did that? Oh, nobody do that but I. That was his personality. And coming down to David. David was a lovely baby coming up, and he was always loved by many because there was about a year and 8 months between him and it was almost 2 years between David and Isaiah's age. So I thought I was going about through having children by the time I had Isaiah. But up come David. And so David is the same David that he was even when he was younger. He always wanted to be the one that knew more than anybody else, could tell you about it more than anybody else, talk more than anybody else, and get right close to his daddy and persuade his dad to do things that he shouldn't be doing at the time. Daddy, let's go fishing. Daddy, let's go buy this. Let's go buy some shoes, a hat, or whatever. David was right with his dad, and so his dad and he was very close in going out to stores and buying and spending money that they didn't even have to spend. And then coming on to Jonathan. Jonathan was a lovely child, lovely growing up child, always loving, always caring, always giving. And somehow or another, later on in life, something happened to him that was unusual, and so it sort of swiped him to the side. But Jonathan was always a working and a hustling little boy. Always wanted to go out and hustle bottles. He, even in the neighborhood, say, save me your bottles. At that time, you could get cash money for the bottles, from the pop bottles. And he would go out and in other words, he would make provision and ask people to save the bottles, so the next weekend he'd pick them up, take them to the store, and get them redeemed for some money. So that was Jonathan's way of doing. and he was a lover of older people. We had a church mother named Mother Shields, and he was her godson, and he just loved Mother Shields, and Mother Shields loved Joe. Then come the baby, Sharon. Sharon has been always that little girl that always wanted to be in the spotlight. If she couldn't be the ruler, she wouldn't have nothing to do with you at all. I know many times she would come out from playing with the other children in the neighborhood, but if she couldn't be the boss, she'd say, I don't want to play. So she is that same Sharon today. If she can't go out in front and be out in front and have her say so, she don't want to have no parts at all. So that is some part of my family, but we grew up a lovely family, and I love all of my children, and at home they had a lovely, lovely upbringing. And Michelle, of course, that daughter that I had and didn't have. Michelle, I can't leave her out because she's the baby of the family. She is the baby of the family. They even feel like, even that today, that she is yet the baby of the family. Coming up, stayed in my house about 13 years. So her granddaddy did not let her parents have her, didn't want them to have her, and take her to Chicago because he didn't feel like they could do for her what we could do for her. Michelle was in my house for the first 13 years of her life, and she is just like my baby daughter.
All right, Mother's going to have to give a report on the biscuits. What do you think, Mother?
The biscuits are excellent. Tastes just like good biscuits would be.
All right.
Very good, very good. They came out very good.
Well, that means I got
keep on making them, you'll get perfect in them.
That means I got a passing grade.
Oh,
how about that?
I would think you got 98.
All right, I'll take a 98. I ain't mad at nobody. Nobody.
98 is good.
That's pretty good.
Okay, give it 2 more percent.
That's right.
Be
100.
In which he's leading us. And I'm thankful for my family, thankful for those who are striving to make things better for their children. And if we don't leave something for our children that's worthwhile, then they'll be lost or it'll be dropped through the cracks. So we need to leave something more than money for our children. We need to leave something that will not fade away.